Last time we went over the 26 titles that are releasing in 2026 that I was most looking forward to. This time let's switch gears, and this is the 26 plus titles that are releasing in the middle grade arena. I have so much to share with you, 26 plus 6 bonus ones, which are sequels, so stick around with me. Welcome old and new friends. This is Seaside Reads with Arlene. I am so glad you're here. Thank you for spending this time with me. As I said, 26 middle grade titles releasing this year, 2026. I am so excited. I will never be too old to read middle grade. My kiddos are both teenagers now. There is some middle grades that they still they lean a little older that they still enjoy. They are not like their mama. So some of them, they're just like, oh, no, it's a little too young, but that's okay. I will continue to read them. I recommend some titles to you guys. So let's get to it because this is a very, very big stack. There is some arcs that I have mentioned over on Instagram. I do a lot of more in the moment reviews and shares. So follow me over there as well. I'm also now on Storygraph. I have never really documented like any digital tracking. I don't do yearly reading goals. I don't like the pressure of like the number. I know some people look at it differently. For me, it just feels like a pressure, so I don't do it. But I do really like Storygraph, and I am committed this year to actually tracking it and sharing and, having all that good stuff with you guys, because then I can see all the recommendations and it's just like all kinds of bookish fun. So that link is going to be down below if you want to join me there. You can see my gigantic TBR that is ever growing, titles that I have just read, and full length reviews that I'm copying over there as well. Plus now our reading challenge is in there for the Salty Moms Book Club. And we're reading our first book of the month this year, which is The French Kitchen by Kristen Cabron. Let's switch gears back to middle grade. Oh my gosh, there's so much good stuff coming out this year. And like I said, I have some arcs as well. I'll have timestamps down below for your convenience. It will be divided by months. Obviously, every month is not represented. We don't know everything that's coming out. These are just the ones that caught my attention. There is so many more coming out, but these are the ones I'm excited about. My personal taste that my kiddos would enjoy at that stage. Some that they may still enjoy right now as young teens. Here we go. Let's get into January. So the first one I actually have an art copy for, and this is Secrets of the Broken House by Tyreen Souders. This is a mystery. I love the premise of this. This is a 13-year-old boy. He goes and works for Miss Geraldine, I believe. Yeah, that's her name. I have to remember the names. Yes, Geraldine. And she's grumpy. It seems like nobody really likes her. He wants to have a rowboat, and in exchange for volunteering and working for her, she's gonna get that rowboat. He goes in and he finds her dead at the end of the stairs, I believe, and everyone is thinking it's an accident, but he has a knack for seeing little details that other people miss. So that is how this story unfolds, and it's a small southern town, so I already love those vibes, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I just started reading this. I do jump in and out of several books at a time. That's just how my ADHD brain works. I cannot just read one book and to the finish and then go on to the next. I can't. I have to have multiple stories in my head at the same time. The MC is 13 years old, so it leans a little bit older, not like, the in the middle grades, you a lot of times like have like an 11-year-old, 10, so something to relate to a little bit of the younger teens. So I'm really looking forward, and I want to share my review of this, obviously, when I'm done, to see if this is something that would fit our young teens. We really need a category for that. That would be an interest to them. So we shall see. I'm really, really looking forward to this releasing January 6th. The next one, this author is no stranger to me. I have read multiple of her titles. We have read them as read-alouds. We have done book clubs with them. I love this author. So I'm really looking forward to her next novel. And she does a little bit of like horror, but for the middle grade audience, which is awesome. And that is X Marks the Haunt by Lindsay Curry. This is on January 6th as well. Job at a local graveyard, 12-year-old Will Stone has some unique talents. For one, he knows exactly how a burial vault works and why they're used. For another, he's great at genealogy and can decode centuries-old records. Not your normal everyday after-school activities, that's for sure, but when a centuries-old crypt key is lost, his normally peaceful existence at Graceland Cemetery is shattered. Trees wither and die. The lake becomes covered with a sinister green slime that threatens to choke out anything living in it. And suddenly, the graveyard's reputation is the only thing in jeopardy. Will and his friends' safety is too. It continues on from there. So if you're, okay, I'm talking to you millennials now, like Goosebumps, Goosebumps Fear Street, that was my jam. So these kind of stories, I have always really loved. Looking forward to her next novel. I have not met a novel of hers that I have not enjoyed. So I'm really looking forward to this one. The next one is a recent add-in to my list. I have had, most of this list probably for a good month now, maybe a little bit longer, and this one I just came across it. That is Alice with a Y by Anna James. That releases January 6th as well. January is a big month once again, just like we did with our adult upcoming reads. This is a retelling, and wait until you hear a little bit about this. Alice's grandmother finds herself tumbling down the rabbit hole in this magical modern Alice Adventures in Wonderland. England, 1919, Alice, with a Y, is sent to live with her grandmother, the original Alice, after having lost her father in war, when a mysterious invitation to a tea party hits her square in the face. Alice realizes that her grandmother's strange stories of a place called Wonderland might have some truth to them after all. I love a modern retelling, and then fit it into middle grade. Absolutely, yes. I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. So this one is one that I will probably grab in the month of January. My list for what I want to read in January is quite large, so it's probably not going to happen, but one can dream. One can dream. The next novel releases on January 13th, and that is A Tale of Plagues and Perfumes by Jake Halpern. I am so looking forward to this one. I don't know why. I was just like, okay, you're quirky enough for me. So this is, it says, is Impossible Creatures meets The Inquisitor's Tale in this immersive middle grade fantasy. Every scent tells a story. The last thing needs to be branded a sensory. Where she comes from, that's just as deadly as the plagues that sweep through the land. That's why she keeps her unusual keen sense of smell a secret. Only 2 people in the city of Urad know of her special abilities, her beloved auntie and her best friend. But when the worst plague in a century hits their desert continent, all that suddenly changes. An invitation arrives in the shape of a jar of blackcurrant jam. Nia is asked to attend the cloister, a select and secluded school of children with heightened senses. That is her magical ability with her senses. I thought it was just so different enough for my interest and for kiddos' interest, and for this audience, this target audience interest. I'm gonna have everything linked down below in my storefront so you can read the full synopsis and pre-order if you like. That really does help authors a lot if you pre-order a title. If you know you for sure you're gonna grab it, go ahead and pre-order. That helps them so much. That really supports the author. The next title also releases on January 13th. That is Hattie Begins Again by Sharon Flake. This is a Coretta Scott Honor winner writer. I'm not sure if I've read something by her before, but I may have. I don't remember, but it sounds familiar, maybe. You can be what you want in life. Climb as high as you wish. Nothing can stop you, not even pedigree. Hattie Mae is from Seed County, North Carolina. She knows hard work, milking cows, plucking chickens, minding the garden. Her hands are made for manual labor, her feet for dirt. That is according to Lisa and some of the girls in Miss Abigail's School of Exceptional Young Ladies in Philadelphia. In their eyes, Hattie Mae will never break into upper society and is unworthy of becoming a doctor or a lawyer. Though Hattie Mae sticks out like a sore thumb and has more in common with hundreds of Black folks pouring into city looking for better opportunities during the Great Migration, she knows that she belongs. She just has to prove it to the rest of the girls and maybe even to herself. This one is gonna really stand out to me, so I'm really looking forward to this one as well. The next title releases on January 20th. We're getting further along in January, and that is Destiny of the Diamond Princess by Sherry Whiston. This is Princess Diaries meets the desk of Zoe Washington. 12th birthday, the only thing Sahara Grace wants is to figure out who she is. The best mom and grandpa around. She knows she loves her friends, and she knows she likes to make a difference in her community, but she also knows she's adopted, and she wants to learn more about that side of herself. Sahara Grace is thrilled when her mom lets her take a DNA test, but she never could have imagined that her biological grandfather would find her, and she definitely never imagined he'd be the king of the small African country. This story, this plot line, I think this is gonna be really good. I am hopeful. I'm very hopeful. Releasing on January 27th, and that is Mo and Crow, The Mystery of the Lost Locket, and this says is volume 1, so by Scott Louis. Moved across the country with her mom, and she's not happy about it. New York City is loud, it's cramped, and worst of all, it's the beginning of summer and she has no friends. When Crow lands on her fire escape one day and brings her mysterious locket with a picture inside, Mo decides to try and find the owner. From the Upper East Side to Brooklyn to exploring the heritage of Chinatown, Mo's adventure. The Crows show her everything with New City has to offer. With themes like divorce, moving, and making new friends, Mo and Crow combines heartfelt moments with nonstop adventure. This title has illustrations, so I think it's going to be very approachable. I mean, add illustrations to adult books, and we're all game too. Like when we see a map, hello. Releasing January 27 is Eureka by Victoria Shang. This is for fans of Inside Out and Back Again, in other words, for home and a place to hang. A novel in verse by multiple award-winning poet Victoria Shang that sensitively and lyrically renders the tragic events of surrounding the 1885 expulsion of Chinese Americans from Eureka, California. Immediately, yes. I think this is something I have not read enough about, and again, I love that it's in a middle grade frame of mind. We've arrived to February, and this one is one of my most anticipated. It's on February 3rd, and that is Twice Enslaved: Liberty and Justice from Henrietta Wood by Celine Castrovilla. And here is a story of Henrietta Wood, who was enslaved twice, but who demanded justice and was awarded the largest reparations ever granted for enslavement. This is a non-fiction title. Henrietta Wood was born enslaved. As a teen, she was ripped from her family and sold. Years later, a miracle happened and she was given freedom papers. But Henrietta's freedom was short-lived. She was tricked back into enslavement and sent to Mississippi cotton plantation. On June 19, 1865, Juneteenth, she was finally free for good. Henrietta Wood sued the man who had kidnapped her back into enslavement, and she won. I think this is going to be a fantastic story for all readers. I'm really looking forward to this one. The next story releases on February 3rd, and that's The Lion's Run by Sarah Pennypacker Eclair. That is what the other boys at the orphanage call Lucas. Tired of his cowardly reputation, just as he's tired of the war and the Nazi occupation of the French village. He longs to show how brave he can be. He gets the chance when he saves a litter of kittens from cruel boys and brings them to an abandoned stable to care for them. There he comes upon a stranger who's none too happy to see him. Alice, the daughter of a horse trainer, her filly from German soldiers. I am actually reading a lot of World War II historical fiction novels right now, so I love to pair that with a middle grade because, again, I have more to recommend with that point of reference. I love when middle grade authors dive into these harder points of history and how they develop them and how they, come up with creative ways to tell these parts of history to younger readers. So I'm looking forward to this one. The next title releases on February 10th. That is Some of Us Are Brave by Farugi, and I'm probably butchering that. She's the author of The Strongest Heart, if you're familiar with that one. This is Hurricane Harvey that happened in Texas. Again, tougher parts of history, and this is like recent history, that are written for younger readers, I'm all in for that. So it's a humid summer in Houston, Texas, and Yasir is dreaming of being a soccer team. If only he can get the team bully Cody off his back and maybe impress crush Mona. Meanwhile, Mona is turning her nightmares into art, and Cody Holmes' life feels as tense as the storm literally brewing down the coast. When Hurricane Harvey makes landfall, the three kids could hardly be called friends. But as their regular lives fall apart and rising floodwaters pull them together, Mona, Cody, and Yazir will need to work as a team if they want to survive. Next title is releasing on February 17th, and that Angry Girls Will Get Us. This is one that like really like it grabbed my attention. I'm like, okay, this has to be read. From an early age, young girls are taught anger isn't an emotion they should express. They're told either implicitly or explicitly to spend their lives keeping their fury locked inside for the benefit of others. But partly, Tracers argues that because the anger of women and girls have been crucial catalysts for change, putting in motion some of the most defining social and political movement in our nation, chronicles a concise history from colonial era to the Women's March of 2017, demonstrating how women's rage has forged coalitions and created political change through movements for women and civil rights and more. This is another nonfiction title in my on my list. The next title releases on February 17th, and that is Each and Every Spark by Claire Swornarski, maybe. Probably butchering it. And this is multiple timelines, so you're in present days and also back into Paris 1943. Again, I'm reading a lot about settings in Paris and World War II, pre and post and things like that. So I like seeing how it's treated again in the middle grade arena. So Penny Marks has never felt so alone, forced to move back to France for some fancy job her mom couldn't turn down. She now lives miles away from her old life. If she hadn't quit art after all the drama went down last year, she had at least something to keep her mind off the fact that life has become back home is moving on without her. Paris 1943, Marie Bonnet has never felt so afraid. When German army seized power over France, she and her sister Heloise watched their father get taken away, leaving them on their own. Anyway, so dual timelines, present day Paris, and back in 1943. Okay, we're still in February. February 24th, Case of the Scarlet Snakebite by Christine Morel. This is a mystery. So 12-year-old obsessed with Agatha Christie suspects every guest at her mother's bed and breakfast of hiding secrets. That is until a real crime rocks the quaint B&B and her mother is framed for it. You had me at hello. Agatha Christie, B&B, a mystery, frame. Yes. Yes, so this releases February 24th, The Case of Scarlet Snakebite. I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a fun read. It's giving me a little bit of the vibes of the first one we discussed, The Secrets of the Broken House. Okay, we've arrived to March, releasing on March 3rd, A Kingdom of Shadows. This is going to be from the Light Seekers series. A band of misfits seeks to fight the darkness that's slowly overcoming their kingdom, the start of a grand adventure series in the traditional Chronicles of Narnia or Wind Feather saga. So if you're a fan of those, you may be a fan of this. Ever since the great betrayal, the light of the Windfell has been dying. The sunshine is dimmer. It takes more firewood to brighten a room, and the shadows grow stronger by the day. Orphan Finn survives in this world by being a thief. When he and his best friends, Adrian, the younger sister Lydia, meets a mysterious stranger who claims to know of the Lake of Light. They set off on an adventure that places where the mist can steal a precious memory. Starlight gathers in the waterfall, and spiders spin shimmering webs of glass as deadly as they are dazzling. Yes. So I'm getting a little bit of like City of Ember, a little of that vibe. Obviously not exactly the same, but I think this is gonna be a good series. At least I'm interested. This next one is probably one of my top 3 most anticipated of reads, and this comes out on March 3rd, and March cannot come soon enough. There's a lot of March releases in the middle grade arena that I'm really looking forward to. Like, I was lacking of books that were catching my eye, that were on my radar for March and the adult YA spot, but middle grade, like, they're taking care of me. So Here Lies a Ghost by Shakira Bourne. Jermaine is not destined to be popular at his new elite school. First, he is the poorest kid in class, no phone, no cool sneakers, no chance. Second, he loves science and can't keep himself from gushing about geology. But after being bullied at his old school, status and protection that comes from joining the Turbo Jets, even if that means abandoning Brody, a fellow outsider who truly wants to be Jermaine's friend. As part of his hazing ritual, the Turbo Jets dare Jermaine to break into the notorious haunted Chase Vault, the crypt that once housed one of the cruelest enslavers in Barbados and his family. Then they lock him inside as a joke. Luckily, Jermaine makes it out unscathed. There's just one problem. Something else left the crypt with him. Someone desperate to learn how she died and get her revenge. Like, yes. Please, I need an arc for this. I need an arc for this. I am so excited. I need to read this. The next one, also releasing on March 3rd, is Wild Mountain Ivy by Shannon Hitchcock. And this is months after catching comet virus, 12-year-old Ivy still hasn't recovered. Ivy doesn't even have energy to play music. Hoping to change the scenery will help. She's spending the summer in North Carolina Blue Ridge Mountains, where her uncle has converted an old house into a bed and breakfast. The Everly house has a long history, including a stint of sanatorium, a treatment center for tuberculosis patients in the 1920s. Like, you already can see why I'm interested, because me, history, then the sanatorium element. Yes, perfect. Ivy starts having dreams about a girl named Jessie Pearl, a TB patient who stayed at the house 100 years ago. Like Ivy, Jessie was an adventurous musician who struggled to adapt to her sickness. But at the Everly house, she was able to rest, listen to her body, and find new ways to fill her time. As Ivy delves into the history of the house, hoping to find out what happened to Jessie, she makes other discoveries that turn her summer into mountains into a new beginning. And there's a cat in the cover, so like, how perfect can you be? I think this is gonna be like one of those immersive type of stories. At least that's what I'm projecting. Okay, so this one caught my eye several times. For some reason, I wasn't adding it to my list, and then I finally like read into the synopsis and I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna love you. And this is releasing also on March 3rd, and this is When Tomorrow Burns by Tay Keller. 3 middle school students embark on a quest to find a book that may just save their lives in this novel about fate and friendship from Newbery Award-winning author When You Trap a Tiger. So if you love that one, check this out. Once there was a tree. For 200 years, there was a tree. There was a tree, there was a tree, until the tree fell in a forest, and then there was a book. When best friend Nomi, V, and author were younger, they discover a book of prophecy. It was very comforting to know that what was coming. But as the kids grew older, they forgot about the book until the final prophecy started coming true. Now, as 7th grade tests their friendships and wildfires threaten Seattle, the final prophecy promised fire and destruction. Nomi tries everything to prevent calamity. The only problem she needs. At first, I wasn't sure, but I think I'm just gonna love it. I don't know why. I'm just gonna have a feeling, and I made the list. Also on March 3rd releases The Greenies by Emma Mills, and this is a graphic novel. So yes, graphic novel always makes my list. And this is Babysitter's Club meets Breakfast Club. After her parents' divorce, 7th grader Violet is forced to start all over. Now the new kid at the new school in a new town, she must navigate unfamiliar territory. Luckily, Violet falls with a new group of maybe friends, but when they wind up in detention, they're forced to join the underattended environmental club. Starts. What will become of this ragtag group? I mean, like, it's hitting like the nostalgia, and then also like environmental club. That's so us. That's so us. I think actually both of my kiddos will actually enjoy reading this for themselves. Next novel is releasing on March 10th. That is Queso, Just in Time by Ernesto Cisneros. His short name. I can't even pronounce the full name. I'm gonna try. Has had an ache in his heart that won't go away ever since his father's death. More than anything, he wishes he could spend time with his dad again. After whispering that wish one night under the light of the moon, Queso wakes up the next morning in 1985 with 12-year-old Pancho, the kid who would grow up to be his dad. Immediately, yes. I think, a book that deals with grief, but then has that magical realism time travel element to it. I think this is just gonna be a big hit in my book. And the cover, you guys, they hit it out of the park with that cover. It's just gorgeous. Next title releases in March 17th. That is Red River Rose by Carol Lindstrom. And this is a historical novel. Métis girl. If I'm mispronouncing that, my apologies. Rose and her family and the Métis people have lived on the land for generations. She spends afternoons tracking rabbits and gathering roots with her best friend, Ambrose, and her little sister, Delia. She loves to watch the ferry arrive, delivering goods and the latest news with their remote community. But then Rose's parents start speaking in hushed tones, discussing whether they should join the resistance. When she learns that the government wants to push the Métis off their land again, Rose feels angry. This is the home they love and the land that they tend to care and respect. This is said in Miss in the 1885. Again, so a historical fiction within middle grade is always something that I'm going to gravitate towards. Next, we're almost at the end of March. March 24th, Grampiers Ghost Swamp. This one is by Rachel Marsh, and like I said, releases March 24th. Basil has spent her entire life in New Orleans, in her family's famed Cajun restaurants in French Quarter. Really, but she's never been out of the bayou where her grandfather grew up. She also has never seen a ghost, even though there's dozens of ghost tours pass by the restaurants every day, and her best friend Tommy is determined to be a ghost hunter. But then Grampiers' ghost appears, and he has a mission for her. Wouldn't mind being haunted if Grampier could be helpful and share his secret recipe that might save the restaurant. But instead, he's intent on connecting Basil with her Cajun heritage. He sends her out to the bayou to meet his friends, an airboy captain and shrimper, and a scientist rebuilding Louisiana's fast disappearing coastline. This is one of my top 3 most anticipated reads, and this is Grampiers Ghost Swamp by Rachel Marsh. I think I'm already fully invested. Now, this next one, releasing also on March 24th, I don't think I see this enough, not in this age range. So I am very, very curious to develop and how the story is going to be told. And I think it's an important one. It's called The Blue Dress by Rebecca Morrison. This is, sometimes Yasmin feels like her body isn't hers. And it's not just because puberty has mounted a full alien invasion or that immigrating from Iran a year and a half ago has meant one change after another. It's also because her mother constantly pushes her to lose weight, like sewing Yasmin a beautiful blue dress for a Persian New Year that is too tight on purpose. At school, it doesn't help that Yasmin's best friend Carmen is petite and close to her own mother, or that popular girl Zoe always has a mean comment to spare. Yasmin is sure her crush Jack won't ever like her the way she is either. With the pressure to fit closing in on all sides, Yasmin starts taking desperate measures. But if being thin is supposed to make her happier, then why does losing weight feel like losing parts of herself too? It's not. It's gonna obviously be major trigger warnings, and this is older middle grade. Is actually recommended for ages 10 and up. But it's called The Blue Dress by Rebecca Morrison, and I think I am really wanting to see how she treats this story so much. On March 31st, we have All Shani Knows by Khushbu Patel. And this is 12-year-old Shani in 1999, the year everything must be perfect, and why shouldn't it be? Her parents are well-respected doctors in the community. She's the leader of her friends group, and her crush is even hinting at liking her back. She also has her sights set high on a spot in India's most prestigious boarding school for girls, if she stays focused and works hard. But as the boarding school selection deadline looms closer, Shani is overwhelmed by a devastating secret that threatens to tear her family apart. With life and relationships spiraling around her, Shani will have to decide between pursuing ambition or protecting her family. Set against the millennium in India, this is a debut novel written in verse in another diverse read, you know, so we're not always reading same location, same people, same cultures. India, 1999, so you're getting a little bit of culture at this, but it's also like going back to your own recent, wow, it's not recent history, it's been a while, but we can call it recent. We are in April, and this is the novel that I am almost completely done with. It's written in a format of a journal. It is Anna Jane and the Endless Summer by Paige Classley. She is also a school librarian, so these titles are super special to me. I received the art copy of this, and I'm going to be sharing a full review once I am done with it. But the novel, I just want to show you, and this is uncorrected art copy. It's written in a format of a journal, the entire thing. So even though this is a hefty one, so if you have a reluctant reader, obviously I'm enjoying this. It is so approachable, you know, kind of like when you have a novel written in verse, and the format is so rich. But let me tell you a little bit. Anna Jane is going to camp. She's looking forward to spending time with her friends, having, you know, all the camp things that you do in a summer camp, but then it turns out that she can't leave camp, right? So it's a bit of supernatural elements to it, and I cannot wait to share more about this one, but I'm trying to keep this a little bit more concise. But Anna J swimming in the lake and reading in her favorite chair and swapping secrets under the stars. But not long after Anna J unpacks her trunk, things at camp start going very, very wrong. First, townspeople begin disappearing. Then the internet and cell service and all the ways of contacting outside world go dark. Overnight, Anna Jane and the residents of Camp Chester find themselves completely alone. Suddenly, fishing and archery are not merely pastimes, but vital skills of survival. And animals start turning into yellow-eyed, disfigured, limb, and dangerous, basically, creatures. This is fast-paced. This is adventure, suspense, mystery, all the vibes. I'm going to give this to my son right after I'm done, because I think this is going to be right up his realm, and he is not a lover of books. Hurts my heart, but he'll read graphic novels. He'll obviously reads everything that's required, but the way that this is, the format this is written is so approachable to me, and I just love her writing style. I'm really looking forward to seeing more from Paige Classley. This one comes out, we're jumping all the way to August. I know there's like a big gap there. I will share more novels as we hear more about them, what's coming out and whatever captures my attention, so make sure you're following along. This is Little Monsters by Marie Roche, and this is releasing on August 8th. A modern supernatural middle grade retelling of the beloved classic Little Women, and the March sisters have a monstrous secret Meg will do anything to protect, especially with another beast lurking in the woods, threatening to expose them all. Meg March and her three sisters are monsters. No, really, Meg has teeth that are a little too sharp. Jo gets furry under her full moon. Beth goes night flying on wings that are impossible to hide under her sweaters. And Amy, well, don't let her near a body of water or she'll start sprouting her mermaid's tail. I mean, this is so out of pocket that, like, this is so wild to me that I have to read it. I have to read it. So this is Little Monsters. Again, you can see the full synopsis in the links that I provide down below. Okay, so now for the bonus title. Those were the 26 anticipated new releases that are either standalone or first in a series. Now I'm gonna quickly rapid fire tell you 6 titles that are sequels of some of your beloved stories and some of mine that are coming. Starting back again with January, we have The Claiming by Jasmine Warga. This is book 2 from the Last Resort series. I will not go into details about this particular synopsis because I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't read book 1, but that is releasing on January 6th. Is book 2 from the Last Resort series. I have not read the series, so I'm gonna start at book 1 and hopefully catch up soon. On February 10th, the book 7, which I cannot believe, I'm so like not caught up with this series, Europa with City Spies. This is book 1. I didn't even know that they were up to book 7. Like, I have not kept up at all. But book 7 is coming out in February of City Spies. And this is such a fun series. I only have the physical copy of the first one. Next series I think everyone knows about. I love B.B. Elston. He is just such an incredible human and has written the most amazing series, and that's Amari and the Night Brothers. Well, book 4 is coming out in February 24th is the date that I have written down now, from the Amari series. And she's grown up a bit. She's grown up a little bit. If you can see it, like, as the cover changes, this has been an amazing story. And I would say that this story is great. This series is great for your upper middle grade, especially. I mean, younger ones can enjoy it as well, but you will find more connections with your upper middle grade students with this series, because some of the complexities and harder themes as well. From this one, I had received the art copy for last year, is Isles of Ever by Jen Kalanita, and there's not a book of hers that I have not thoroughly enjoyed. And I have like the sneak preview arc, which is like the first 3 chapters. It is coming out March 10th. This is the sequel to the Isles of Ever, which is another fantastic series called The Curse Breaker, an Isles and Ever novel. And this, yes, like, again, I don't want to ruin it for you, so I just want to mention that these are coming out, and these are the sequels that I am looking forward to. But yes, catch up with this before March to get to here. And like, I got a map with it and the lighthouse stuff and the letter, and it was just like, absolutely, I love PR boxes that go like the extra mile to have all. The next one, this is one of the sequels that I have not read the first book, but I'm immediately like, please, I need to get on this. That is coming out March 10th. This is The Lighthouse at the World's End. This is the House of Edge of Magic, and this is book 4 that's coming out from the from this series. And I mean, first of all, the cover, I don't even know what you're about, but I want to read you. So I need to catch up on this series. And if you've read it, tell me about it. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Did your kiddos enjoy it? Tell me more. But book 4 is coming out in March. Last and definitely not least, this is another series that I need to get on. But book 3 is coming out on April 7th, and that is A Secret Escape, and that is The Liars Society. Yes. I already requested for my library book 1 because this was up my realm, but book 3 is coming out in April, so you have a chance to catch up if you're just meeting the series like I am. That is it. So 26 books from releasing this year in 2026 that I'm looking forward to. There will be way more to come, plus 6 bonus books, which are sequels that are releasing this year. Tell me what caught your eye. What are you looking forward to? Maybe something obviously that I did not mention, sometimes quirky list of things that I find from under the blankets that people are not showing too much about, which I love to like shed some light on those. But tell me what caught your eye. What are you looking forward to? What middle grade novel or adult YA are you starting 2026 year off with? For joining me. Don't forget to hit like, and what in the world, babe? Something just crawled by and I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna put a clip of what it is right here as I was trying to say goodbye. What was it? There's all kinds of animal life that comes by behind us. That was crazy. Anyways, thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget to show your library and indie shop some love. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.